Everyone has heard about the Point 4 enchantment coming in the Beyond the Veil update. You'll now be able to get any tiered item as a Point 4 enchant. This even includes 8.4 items. You might be wondering though, how is this going to impact 8.3 items and HCEs overall? That is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in this video. As we all know, 8.3 items are essential to HCEs. For higher level maps, 8.3 Masterpiece is even required. You might be thinking that the new 8.4 items are going to make HCEs so much easier, and in theory, you could be right. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the tests that I did on the test realm. As you can see, I have a bunch of different sets. Let's focus on our HCE healing build. When we transition from 8.4 items to 8.3, we will see a bunch of stats turn red, and when going from 0.3 to 0.4, the same stats will go green. That is exactly what we would expect. Our health also increased by around 235 hit points to around 4,149, which is awesome. Healers and DPSs usually don't have that much health, and this is the first time that we've ever seen someone use an HCE healing set and have over 4,000 health points. But there's also a downfall to having these 8.4 items. If you look at the offhand, the Celestial Sensor, we can see that the defense versus mobs causes an increase from negative 18% to negative 21%. This, in a sense, balances out the extra HP that the healer and the DPS using the Crypt Candle would get. So, standing in AoEs and getting attacked by mobs should result in how it currently is in HCEs. However, DPSs will be doing a lot more damage. I tested this out with the HCE Expo build. I did exactly one rotation for the Expo in both 8.3 and 8.4 sets and compared the damage. With the 8.3 set, I got around 4,736,000 damage with one rotation. Using the 8.4 set, I got around 5,301 damage with one rotation. That is an extra 565 more damage per rotation. It's almost like an extra full 8.3 Expo Q. So, in result, the DPSs will be doing a lot more damage per rotation. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the HCE tank build. This is by far the most exciting set to look at. The reason being is that you get around 267 more health, and you also get a 10% CC versus mobs increase. Mobs will now be stunned for a significant amount of time longer. This should hopefully return HCEs back to how they were before the CC nerf update around a year ago. That is awesome news because instead of the usual HCE buff, we are in a sense getting an HCE difficulty nerf, assuming that you can get your hands on 8.4 items. That's the key thing though. If you can't afford 8.4 items, then this doesn't really affect your HCE gameplay. Currently, we'll see that 8.3 Masterpiece items like the Chill Howl are selling for over 125 million. That is an insane price. I could only assume that the 8.4 Chill Howl is going to sell for even more expensive prices. I personally think that the 8.4 items are going to be so expensive that only the richest players in Albion will really be able to afford them at first. So in reality, HCEs won't really be impacted by the new 0.4 enchantment until a couple of months or even a year go by and there are a lot more than just a few items on the market. There are even a shortage of 8.3 Masterpiece items on many markets currently. So I think that HCE items with an 8.4 enchant are going to be very, very hard to get for at least the first couple months up to even a year. Another thing that everyone is probably worried about is that the prices of 8.3 HCE Masterpiece or not items might go down in price. I definitely think that this is going to happen. But I think there are realistically two major scenarios that might play out. Before I talk about those, I want to say that the prices are going to drop a decent amount, since people will panic fearing that 8.3 will be useless and sell their 8.3 HCE items as soon as possible. After that first wave, the very first big scenario that I think could happen is that 8.4 HCE items will be a lot more available and 8.3 items will start to decrease in prices then. The reason being is that if you can have a lot of 8.4 items and afford them slash get your hands on them, why need 8.3? And that is exactly when we would see a major price drop in 8.3 items. I don't think that this scenario is as likely as the other one though. I'll explain though in scenario 2. The second scenario is that 8.4 HCE items turn out to be a rare unicorn that only 10,000 uber rich people in the game can have out of the 200,000 active players. The reason being is that 8.4 is going to be extremely expensive and won't appear on the maps ever so rarely. I could definitely see this happening because the amount of time that it took to re-roll the quality of my 8.4 HCE sets in the test server. I did around 3 8.4 sets and spent around 7 billion silver to get them all to Masterpiece. This is insane. No one has that much money to spend on re-rolling their sets. So, seeing an 8.4 Masterpiece set, I think, is going to be almost non-existent for a while. And yes, people are going to get lucky and craft them, but I don't think that it's going to happen often. Also, when crafters take into account the amount of silver that 8.4 items are going to cost you to reroll instead of having just crafted them at that desired level, they'll start charging insane amounts for different qualities, obviously, which makes sense, but I think that it's going to be outrageous. Well, guys, that's everything on the new 8.4 items and how they'll impact HCEs. I honestly don't know exactly how the future is going to go, and this is all my speculation and opinion. So, like I said, I think there's two main scenarios that the 8.4 items for HCEs will play out as, and I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.